Yo, what is going on YouTube? I am Germ here, and guess what? Today, I pulled out the C9 merch. I was repping it during the games. Yeah, not in person, but just, from my own apartment. And it wasn't enough. C9 is finished. They are now officially in off-season mode. And quick disclaimer to start the video, I just want to say sorry, I guess, to anyone who doesn't necessarily like the is finished videos, because over the next couple days, you're probably going to be getting a lot of is finished videos. We have the opportunity of 6 Western teams being eliminated from World's contention and having their seasons come to an end over the next 3 or 4 days. And if I don't start making all these videos now, then they're going to backlog and it's going to be way outdated, or I'm going to have to do a bunch in the future. So I'm just going to kind of do them as the teams get knocked out, because weirdly enough, and for whatever reason, Is Finished has become the most iconic series on my channel. It's the one that in person and in comments and on Twitter and YouTube and everywhere, people ask for and people talk about the most. And I like making them, and obviously they're resonating with people at least to some extent. And it's a cool way to wrap up the season that was for these teams, to kind of remember them in that way, but also prepare for the 2023 offseason at the same time. So I think these are fun. So we're going to keep doing them. If you get spammed with Is Finished and you're looking for more news or interviews or whatever the next couple days, I'm sorry. That stuff's going to be coming. We post I don't know, 500 videos a year. But I do hope you enjoy these, because I do think these videos are good. But C9 is finished. This is what we're looking at today. I mean, we can refresh this because actually the standings have should be fully updated by now. T1 beat EDG. They went 5-1. They win their group. EDG 4-2. Fnatic 2-4. Cloud9 1-5. Cloud9 did not do their part in helping North America go 0-18 at this year's Worlds. We can't do anything right. We can't play good League of Legends, and we can't also be historically bad. We can't win 0 games either. C9 did end up taking down Fnatic, and oddly enough, after C9 was 0-3, playing a lot of weird picks, putting Sven on Engage Tanks, putting Berserker on Misfortune, putting Fudge on Jackson Fiora, which again, yeah, he was good at in North America, but after a game or 2, or especially 3 at Worlds, it was clear, he's not in great form. Those picks aren't working for whatever reason. Cloud9 decided to pull out a enchanter support for Sven. I don't know why I couldn't think of the word. A carry 80 carry for Berserker, a hyper scaling 80 carry for Berserker, and a tank for Fudge. And guess what? They won. Now, this could be coincidental because Fnatic definitely did not show their best form today. Fnatic ended up going 0-3. They were pretty rough. And today, or week 2 or whatever, C9 ends up having a better record than Fnatic. Yes, they both just get absolutely smacked around by the Eastern teams, but C9 beats Fnatic, and at the end of the day, Fnatic goes 2-4, Cloud9 goes 1-5. You can flame them, you can meme them, you can say NA sucks, all that stuff. They finished just a game below Fnatic, and like I said in the Fnatic video, they're both on the same airplane, or they're at the same airport taking airplanes going different directions. They're both going home right now, and for both of these teams, their seasons are officially over. And for Cloud9, yes, it does suck for the NA 1 seed to come into Worlds and go 1-5, and to not really have much hope even coming into the second week. Yes, it does suck, but with all things considered, when you look at this group, and funnily enough, these are some of the best performing teams of all time in each of the regions. Fnatic might be EU's best performing international team, obviously G2, but Fnatic's success even goes back a little bit further. Probably G2, but Fnatic still has been a very, very successful team at Worlds historically, getting out of groups very, very consistently. Same thing with EDG, same thing with T1, and same thing with Cloud9. All 4 of these teams are always really, really strong and know how to perform internationally, even with different rosters and that kind of stuff. So C9 was in a tough group. Also, you have to remember that this C9 team has only had a split together, and this is 2 role swaps, Fudge going to top, Sven going to support. It's a rookie AD carry that was really kind of expected to carry this team in a lot of ways. It's Jensen coming out of taking off a split in the spring, or not taking off a split, but not playing in the spring, coming back in the summer. Blabber was really the only consistency they had for this lineup from even last year. Again, Berserker was consistent from the spring, but he's a rookie. So this was going to be tough. The fact that C9 won the title and was as dominant as they were during the LCS summer playoffs, I think is more of an indictment on the LCS, more of an indictment on 100 Thieves and Team Liquid and TSM and all these other teams, of showing just how bad those other teams really are, that a team with all this role swap and change and rookies and players who didn't even play last split being able to win the whole thing rather than C9 really being this great team that was going to be able to go and stand toe-to-toe with some of the best teams internationally. And now, obviously, I had hoped they would, and I was drinking the Kool-Aid, and I was all bought in and all that stuff. But obviously, we see that C9 is just not that good, and at the end of the day, I don't really think it should be that shocking. With EG, you do still have the excuse, again, with them, the stuff that happened with Danny. So like I said, I think this is way more of an indictment on, like, 100 Thieves and TL and TSM, and, like, wow, those teams, they must really not be all that good because they didn't have all these issues to go through. But Cloud9, I don't think this should be totally shocking that they struggled in such a tough group with everything that went on. I think it's really cool that they were even able to win a title and make it this far in the first place. But yeah, super strange that they end up picking 5 carry top laner for Fudge and lose all 5 of those games. They end up picking Varus for Berserker. They end up picking Misfortune for Berserker, all this weird stuff. They put Sven on the tanks. Like, it seems like their meta read was really bad, or they just really wanted to play meta over playing what was best for their team and their players and their strategy. But at the end of the day, it was going to be very difficult for C9 to make it out of this group. And I don't even know with like better drafts or more appropriate drafts or whatever, if they would have been able to beat EDG or T1. You know, at the end of the day, EDG goes 4-2 and gets second. C9's 3 whole games below them. That is really rough. We did have some kind of tweets and stuff. I don't know what GG ban Q means. I don't know what that means, but that's what Berserker tweeted out at the end of the game. We also had Jojo Pune. He tweeted out, "This is NA's week." This was after C9 beat Fnatic, and then after C9 ends up getting eliminated, Berserker comes back with a copium tweet. And I just really have appreciated over the course of this year all Berserker's kind of Twitter game, which has been really fun to see, especially in a second language. Blabber tweeted out, "Our world performance ends here. I'm really sad about our performance overall. We weren't able to figure out what was able to work for us. We all tried our best, and hopefully we can be back stronger next year. Thanks all the fans for supporting us throughout the year." We have Fudge. You know, he said C9 is back after they beat Fnatic, and then he said crowd was amazing. Thank you. And the crowd was really amazing. I mean, they gave like a standing ovation to C9 even after they'd been eliminated. C9 did also win a game and get to like take a bow in front of the fans. The fans went crazy. They actually had hope for C9 at the beginning of the day. And a lot of people were saying, "Oh yeah, you know, it's good that NA got a win. It's good NA didn't go 0-18. It's good they got that experience, all that stuff." And like, at the end of the day, I don't really care if NA goes 0-18 or 2-16 or 1-17. That's all really the same to me. And if C9 went 0-6 or 1-5 or whatever, yeah, 0-6 is going to get memed more than 1-5. But like, even Fnatic going 2-4, like, I don't really think that's all that different or really different at all in my eyes than C9 going 1-5. Like who cares? You either get out of groups or you don't. That is what is going to be remembered. And you know, maybe we don't want to get made fun of as much or whatever, but like, I don't give a shit that they won the single game. It really doesn't make a difference to me at all. I'm not looking at this tournament all more different for C9 because they won the one game. And if they would have lost to Fnatic today, I'd be like, "Oh, C9 mega sucks now." Like, no, I think this was a huge disappointment no matter what. But for the players, yeah, it's cool that they got to, you know, take a bow in front of the crowd and the crowd got to cheer for them and all that stuff. That's awesome. We did have Sven. He hasn't said anything yet, but he did say, "Hey, we got a tier 2 XD after Fnatic." And then Jensen saying, "Such a disappointing Worlds run. Thank you guys for all the support. It was a pleasure to play in front of a crowd with so much support." On a side note, if I only bought Oblivion Orb, I win that last duel. Obviously talking about his matchup with Faker, where, you know, he clapped Faker a little bit, and then Faker ended up getting the ultimate revenge by clapping him in their extended duel, and then also winning the game. So yeah, Faker, you know, Jensen had his little moment, his little shine, which was cool. But again, this is Jensen just a one split back into being even playing in the competitive scene. Yeah, I don't know. He had a good summer split overall, even though he didn't have a great world. But obviously, C9 season is done. They are now headed into the next season. They're now headed into the 2023 offseason with a ton of question marks. We had heard Sven after the LCS finals saying something along the lines of, you know, the Tigers asked him like, "Hey, you just won the LCS title. Are you a support now?" or something like that. And he was still like, "You know, we'll see how Worlds goes," that type of deal. And hey, Worlds didn't go all that great, so I'm assuming he doesn't really see himself as a support still. So I don't know where he's going to end up next year. I know some people had said, hey, he could maybe be a good replacement on EG for Danny, but we know that Vulcan didn't really want to play with Sven. That's why he left Cloud9 in the first place. So I don't really see Sven ending up there. I don't think Sven is going to return to TSM, but hey, they kicked Tactical. There could be an opening at TSM. Maybe that's some kind of reunion they want to make. Who knows? Sven could maybe look at teams like FlyQuest, getting to pair up with Aframu or something like that. But other than that, I mean, maybe 100 Thieves is going to have an 80 carry position open as well. I don't really know what 100 Thieves is going to be doing for next year, after I'm assuming they're going to bomb out of this whole thing. I don't know, but it seems like Sven's probably going to try and find an 80 carry position somewhere. Seems like C9 is probably going to have a support position open. That's leading a lot of people to say, hey, should C9 go after Core JJ? Is Core JJ going to be interested in C9? Man, what would a Berserker and Core JJ bot lane look like? That'd be really, really fun. And then on the conversation of Berserker, you know, I had tweeted out like, man, Berserker's probably leaving Cloud9 after this whole world fiasco and how this stuff's going after they got clapped by T1, all that stuff. Berserker, before Worlds had started, had an interview with Ashley Kang where he said he sees himself staying in NA for at least one more year, but he does not see himself staying in NA forever or retiring in NA or anything like that. He says he does want to play on the LCK stage at some point. So hey, he is under contract, I believe, for one more year, maybe 1 or 2 more years. And I don't think anyone on the C9 team has an expiring contract. I don't think anyone's set to be a free agent, but you know, Berserker is expected to be back next year. Obviously C9 is going to want him back, but yeah, at some point is he going to want to leave, especially after kind of a rough Worlds performance like this? I don't know, but Core JJ Berserker would be really, really fun bottom. Jensen, you assume he's going to be back with Cloud9, especially after winning the title. I don't think they're going to look elsewhere, but how funny would it be if Bjergsen does replace him on C9? Again, I think it's very, very unlikely. I think C9's main goal at this point should be to build around that core of Fudge, Blabber, and Berserker, because they are like all young and very, very talented players, obviously with Blabber and Fudge being resident players at that. Jensen definitely isn't a long-term option in the mid lane, but I think he's still really, really good for right now, especially as a resident, maybe on the downward slope of his career for sure. So I don't know. I really see C9, the only change they would need to make going into the offseason is potentially support. Maybe a guy like Core JJ, maybe a guy like Busio or Ayla or something like this if they want to go a little younger. I don't know. It's going to be very, very interesting, but I really don't think this team needs to make too many changes. Yes, this world was absolutely disastrous, but again, this team only had one real split together as a whole, as a unit, and I think if they have a whole year together next year in 2022, they can hopefully do some better things. But I also hope that they remember these feelings, you know, the feelings of winning the LCS title and stomping through the playoffs and feeling how high it was, and then getting crushed down at Worlds and remembering, hey, we always need to be working. We always need to be getting better. We always need to be grinding. We need to be motivated like we are feeling right now, and use these games and use this world experience to actually get better and stay motivated throughout the whole year and make the region better and push yourselves to be better, push the other teams, the other players to be better, you know, utilize Champions Queue, utilize the tools that you have, and grind and grind and grind. Not, you know, not like necessarily you need to live the Korean lifestyle or whatever, but just always be given 110%, always be getting better and better and better, because I feel like at some points we might kind of be hitting lulls or ego moments or, you know, feeling like we've done enough or whatever. And I think the C9 team is very, very talented. We know a lot of these players at their best. Fudge, Blabber, Jensen, and Berserker for sure at their best can go toe-to-toe with some of the best players in the world. They've all done it at certain points in their career, and Berserker, you know, maybe being the best player in the LCS. But the consistency and, you know, being able to bring it all the time, different metas, all that stuff, I don't know. I still think C9 is in one of the best spots of any team in the LCS, especially with the core they have. Like them and EG really have the brightest futures ahead of them. And yeah, it sucks they kind of shit the bed, but again, they had a hard group. Things were really, really tough, but it is off-season mode for them. I am curious to hear what kind of roster moves or changes you guys think they should look at, what they might make. Do you think anyone's going to try and leave this team? Do you think they should kick anyone from this team? Who do you think they should go after? I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions. And yeah, we'll have to see what happens. Definitely drop a like if you guys did enjoy this video. I would appreciate that a ton. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you guys think. Subscribe, stay up to date on all my latest content. Hope to catch you guys in the next one. But until then, peace.